Hello, my name is Euin Cobb, and we're going to begin a brand new instance of the Kerbal Space Program. We're going to start the game and start new. We're going to start on career mode. There are other options, but we're going to do career mode because career mode, you have to manage all aspects of your space program. Funds, reputation, science are all active. Let's see. Oh, and we'll leave it on normal difficulty. So let's start. Welcome to the Space Center. This is your Space Center. I'm sure if you may have played this game a wee bit before. I'm guessing if you're watching my video. This is Gene Kerman. Kerman, everybody seems to have the last name of Kerman. I've played the game for about 3 years so far. Let's see. This is the Space Center. From here you can manage all aspects of the space program. Feel free to have a look around. Hold the right mouse button to move the camera. It's like this. Or to use the arrow keys. Right-click over the Space Center facilities to view more about them, and left-click when you're ready to head inside. If you need more information, check out the training section on the main menu. Thanks, I've got it. Okay, this is the general layout. You have your vertical assembly building. If you right-click on it, you get more information about it. And this is the spaceplane hangar. These things are all upgradable. This is the astronaut complex. This is the research and development. And this is the tracking station. This is the launch pad. And this is the landing strip, the runway they call it. And this is the administration building. The main buildings you're going to be using is the assembly buildings, these two. This, where you get your missions, and the technology center. You'll use these other places, of course, too, for launching rockets and such, launching space planes from over here. You're on a peninsula of the one of the main continents on the planet. And let's see. These triangles are used to speed up and slow down time at other locations in the game. They'll be up here. This is how much money you have to work with at the moment. This is reputation, which is not that meaningful right now. This is the science, and as you do missions, you will accumulate more science. Right now, let's go and look at our technology. I left-clicked on the technology, the research and development building. These are all the parts, the technology parts that you can accumulate. They're all locked right now, except for this one. And if you left-click on it, you see what parts you have available to you right now. Let's see, computer flight unit, Kerbal engineering system. The Kerbal engineering is actually the only mod that I use, the only additional piece of software that I use. It's a free mod. And it shows up in the very beginning. Let's see, basic fin, MK1 command pod. It'll hold one Kerbal knot, and the Flea solid fuel booster, mystery goo containment unit. That's a piece of science. You can get science using that. Modular girder segment, and a parachute that fits on top of the command pod. So, those are the pieces we start with. As we get science, we'll be able to unlock other things, like these three things, which require 5 science in order to unlock them. But our science right now is at 0, so we're going to have to earn some science. And really, that's the main focus, other than keeping your money up. You don't want to run out of money, because you have to pay money to build rockets. So our goal right now is to mostly work toward unlocking better and better parts, more and better parts, because as you work through this, you get bigger engines and more equipment. and more science devices. And eventually you work up to some really big rocket engines, and really you can make some really big rockets. So let's go to the mission control. Welcome to mission control. Please make a selection. These are missions that you can choose, and these are the ones that are already assigned to you. The available missions, this is the archives of things you've already completed, which we haven't completed anything. These are available to us now. And so if we think we can do one of them, like launch our first vessel, yeah, we can do that. So having highlighted it and it's over here, we can now accept it. Escape the atmosphere. We might not do it immediately, but I think we can do it pretty soon. So, get scientific data from Kerbal, from the surface. Yeah, apparently. So we can, it won't let us accept it. I think at this point we're only allowed to have like 5 missions, which means that I should not have accepted that other one, and I should have grabbed this one first. Oh well. It'll be fine. So we're entering the vehicle assembly building. Welcome to the vehicle assembly building. Hello, I'm Werner von Kerman, Chief Rocketry Engineer. This is the vertical assembly building. Here is where we build spacecraft and later roll them out to the launch pad for flight. Pretty impressive, isn't it? It's actually a pretty big building. On your left, you'll find components, such as that and that. And you go down the list and press these tabs, and whatever components are available in that tab will appear over here. And after a while, you'll be able to fill up this entire area. Components to construct your own spacecraft. Select the starting point, then attach others to it to build a ship. You can then have a look around with RMB, the right mouse button. You can't do it right now because you don't have any parts out there. Or the arrow keys. That's really not as if it were, that's it really. It's not as if it were rocket science. He's going to say it's not those rocket science. Anyhow, if you need a more in-depth explanation of how to build, have a look at the training section in the main menu. Got it. Okay. Your main parts here are, up here you can name the craft that you're going to build. We'll just give it I don't know, a simple name. First craft. First craft. I need to get rid of that part too. Okay. And you can hit this to build a new craft. If you have one out here already, it would make it go away and start over. This is where you load a craft from that you've put into storage from here, basically. This is the save, and this is go to the launch pad. So, and you always have to start with the basically whatever it is that's going to control the spacecraft, like this. It just puts it out there in the default location. And then you can grab something else, say this rocket motor. This is a solid rocket motor, and it is now attached to it. And so you have the beginnings of your first rocket. Now we want to put a parachute on top of it. Let me zoom in. Zooming in is you roll your mouse button while holding the shift key. It could be either shift key or it might be only the left. When you press it to something and it turns green, that means it's gonna, when you click it again, it'll stay. You click something one time to get it to let go, and then you click again to let go of it. You click it again to get it in position, click it again to let go of it. But of course, if it's like here, it's not going to join. It's got to turn green. You watch for it to turn green. Okay. And by the way, if you roll the mouse up and down without the shift key pressed, you go up and down. And if you press the shift key, you go in and out by rolling the mouse button. This is Kerbal Engineer Redux. Again, this is the only mod that I use, and I use it because it gives so much great information. But I'll talk about that later. Here it's displaying the cost, the mass, how much thrust this particular rocket engine is going to provide, delta V, how long it'll burn, things like that. This is where you see, of course, your money that we have on hand, and it's increased to over the $25,000 that we start with because we accepted some contracts, and they give you some upfront money. You get more money as you complete them, or after you complete one. This particular rocket costs $1,222 based on the number of parts we have on it right now. If we were to take a part off, you see its price drops to $800. Okay, let's see. I don't think we really need anything else for this rocket. We could put some fins on it, but I don't know that it's necessary. Yeah. So, let's go fly this thing. We can save it, though, if we want. Save. And now we're going to go fly it. Takes a few seconds to get out to the launch pad, which it's a pretty tiny little rocket sitting down there, and that'll look like a little hole in the ground. Now it's just a smudge spot. Okay. I usually like to click on this so I can see my electric charge, which we're running entirely on batteries because there's no solar cells on this thing right now. And Jebediah Kerman is whoever's inside the craft is located inside the craft right there. And if we had a 3-man craft, you'd see 3 of them down here. So, okay, we check our staging, which I did not fix first, which I usually fix in the vertical assembly building. To launch stuff, you hit the space bar. Now, if I were to hit the space bar now, it would not only turn on the engine, but it would also pop my chute. So I don't want that. So I'm going to adjust my staging. And it operates from the bottom up. Sometimes you'll have stuff all the way up to here because there'll be many stages and a lot of things to happen. Okay. And we're at 69 meters above the ocean level, which, for your information, that's the ocean. Okay, so I hit the T key, which turns on the SAS, which is the guidance system. If you forget that, well, your rocket can do some strange things. In fact, I won't hit it, just so I can show you how the rocket behaves. We're using a solid rocket. This is a solid rocket, so we don't really need to raise the throttle, which is done with the control. The left control key lowers it, and the left shift key raises it. But I have a long-standing habit of raising my throttle because if I launch with a liquid-fueled engine, then that controls how much force there is. Okay, so without the guidance control, let's hit the space bar and launch into the sky. Okay, looks like it's following a pretty good track, burning out pretty quick. Okay. Now, we can see that we're traveling a little bit faster than the speed of sound here, or we were. This is our altitude, which is ramping up, as you can see. And we have achieved at least one goal. It makes some green radiative lines when you achieve a goal. Okay, we're at 9 kilometers. That is 9,700 and something meters. And we've reached our height, and we're beginning to fall back down. This is the nav ball. More about that later. Okay. This is how fast we're moving. 167, 161. Okay, we're about to cross 200. So, Yeah, we've crossed 200. I'm trying to rotate. I'm pressing the A key because I'm worried we're parachutes. I'm going to pop the parachute in a minute. But I think we're driving too fast to land safely. Okay, I popped the parachute. Okay. Yeah, parachute opened fine. Didn't tear it apart. And we're doing a little over 6 meters. And we're at 200 meters, 180, 170. Often when you're landing, you want to look for your shadow so you can, especially if you're landing, say, on a moon or something, to get a sense of how far away the ground is. We're doing 6.5, 6.2. Okay, safe landing. Jebediah seems fine. Okay, very nice. Okay, let's return to the Space Center. To do that, you hit the escape key, and if you didn't like the way the flight went, you can hit revert flight. But we want to go back to the Space Center because we picked up some science there, and we want to get the benefit of it. Revert flight means to undo the flight. Okay. Our craft is sitting over there, so we want to recover it. And let's see, we got 5 science off of that. So, no, total of 6 science. Okay, that's how much science. Push this tab. We've recovered a number of parts that had cost some money, so we recovered some funds. And we recovered Jebediah, who gained 1 experience. No, total, and well, he's gained 1 experience. We have gained a total of 12 experience. Okay, so we now have 6 science, and the experience marker moved a tiny bit, and we have 80,000 credits. So we're going to go into the R&D building, and we're going to see which of these we want to pick up. We can get the liquid fuel engine, the Reliant liquid fuel engine, the hammer, which is a bigger, stronger, solid rocket booster, a small tank. Now, mind you, we only have 6, so we can only get either this one or we can get this one. MK1 cockpit, that's for building space planes. Science Junior, that's a science experiment. Communitron antenna, a stacked decoupler. I don't know which one we want. That stacked decoupler would be pretty handy. I think we'll go for this one though, because that booster will give us more altitude. I don't know, because that stacked decoupler, if we were hooked to that larger booster and going down and open a parachute, the parachute would not be strong enough to give us a safe landing. So I'm going to go for this one to get that stacked decoupler. Mind you, we're going to open up all this stuff after a while. It's just you have to pick and choose what you want for your next missions. So until next time, you have fun, and I'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.